Hello guys, my name is Lisbeth Richardson, and today with Diana Matos we are going to present an interesting topic, the realism.
Realism concept. In its specific sense, realism refers to the mid-19th century artistic movement characterized by subjects painted from everyday life in a naturalistic manner. However, the term is also generally used to describe artworks painted in a realistic, almost photographic way. Another concept of realism is that realism is a representation of how things really are, or being practical and facing facts. An example of realism is the rejection of mythical beings, the representation in art or literature of objects, action, social conditions as they actually are. History of the realism. Until the 19th century, Western art was dominated by the academic theory of history painted in high art. Artistic conventions govern style and subject matter, consulting in artwork and often appears artificial and removed from the real life.
Realism in literature. Literary realism is a movement that represents reality by portraying mundane, everyday lifestyle and experiences as they really are in the real world. It demonstrates familiar people, places, and histories, focusing on the lower and middle classes of society. Literary realism seeks to tell a story as truthfully as possible, instead of dramatizing or romanticizing it. It's part of the realist art movement. It began as a reaction to the 18th century Romanticism and the rise of the bourgeoisie in Europe. They proposed that the Romanticism histories were too toxic and have lost touch with the real world. The roots of the literary realism lies in France, where realist writers published works of realism novels in serial forms, such as newspaper. The known precursor of this movement is called Honoré de Balzac. He created a detailed book portraying all the whole range of the French society, and it's called La Comédie Humaine. Types of literary realism. Magical realism. This is a type of realism that blurs lines between fantasy and reality. Magical realism portrays the world truthfully plus adding magical elements that are not found in our reality but are still considered normal in the world the story takes place. The book 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez is a great example. Social realism is a type of realism that focuses on the lives and living conditions of the working class and the poor people. A good example of this type of realism is the book Les Miserables by Victor Hugo. It's a social novel about a class and politics in France. Naturalism. Naturalism is a extreme form of realism. It was influenced by Charles Darwin and his theory of evolution. A great example of this type of realism is A Rose for Emily. It was written by William Pope. Important characters of the period. George Eliot. George Eliot, whose real name was Marianne Evans, was born in November in a city of England. She was an English Victorian novelist who developed the method of psychological analysis characteristic of modern fiction. She remains to be as one of the brightest novelists who started the genre of feminism. Her major works are Adam Bede, The Middle the Fluff, Silas Marner, Middlemarch, and Daniel Deronda. Mark Twain. Mark Twain, his real name was Samuel Clemens. He was the author of several novels including two major classics of American literature, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer and The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. He also was a pilot, a journalist, a lecturer, and an inventor. The Adventures of Tom Sawyer was published in 1876, and soon he began to write a sequel named Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. Edith Wharton. Edith Wharton was an American author. She is known for her ironic and polished prose about the aristocratic New York society, the one she was born in. The protagonists of her writings challenge social taboos, but are unable to overcome the barriers of social convention. She writes about her personal beliefs, experiences, and opinions. Edith never went to school. She was taught at home by her tutors. She became fluent in French, German, and Italian, and to read all the books of her father's library was her passion. Edith wrote short histories such as The Valley of Decision and The House of Mirth. Her major achievement was writing The Age of Innocence. With it, she won a Pulitzer Award. Thank you guys, that was all. I hope you have taken notes. Be prepared for the Kahoot. Bye!